I should be live right now. Just quickly look on my phone and if everything is okay. Let's just see live. Yeah, there it is. I can see chat. I can see my Logify, who's been waiting for half an hour. So we're no longer going to stall. We're just going to get straight into it. And today we're making some kick drums. So kick number 11. There's a few things that we're going to be doing today. I want to first off start by making some kick drums, exploring some of the different possibilities and just experimenting. And then we'll get into production and we'll spend another hour and a half working on some music. I think the song that I want to work on is the loop, the loop to full track song that we've been working on. I just quickly want to see what that is. I do need to see what I named that song. Manipulating time, social mindfulness, bongo club. It might not be on here. We might work on a different song then, because this is the list of things that of songs that I still need to finish for my upcoming EPs. This is nothing to do with the album. So that's what we'll choose one from, and probably 74 Screechers. That's the one that I've been working on this morning as well. That's the one that I'm currently feeling inspired for. Let me quickly open this back up. There we are. So that's what we'll be working on. But first I want to get into some kick drums. And this is a project where I make kicks. You can see, you have seen it if you follow my videos. I'm pretty sweaty. It's very hot today. In a week it went up like 10 degrees. Celsius, that is, not American degrees. I know in American terms that isn't that much, but in Celsius that is quite a decent amount. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with Serum, and I want to experiment with Vital as well, see if we can get some different results from that. And the easiest way to do this, to make kick drums, is to open up your Serum somewhere and then to throw in Sidescope. I'm just quickly going to close these off so I can make a MIDI track. You do need to do this on MIDI. Normally I like to, when I'm sound designing, just trigger notes with my keyboard like this, right? But this technique only works if you loop a MIDI note. So we want to create a MIDI note somewhere, and then I'm gonna go down to the bass register here, one more. You see F#0, that's where we're in now. And now we can play this. I should probably put this here to keep things organized. Sorry for that. It's hotter than where you lived in Italy, presumably. Yes, I would need a fan. The house that I live in has no air conditioning, no fan, no nothing. So that's a bit of a problem. I do still live in Italy, but I definitely live in a hotter part of Italy. The place where I live is on like the biggest river of Italy, the Po, and therefore it's notoriously humid, and it also can get up to like 40 degrees in the summer, 40, 42, 43, that range-ish in Celsius. So that with the higher humidity than what I'm used to is definitely going to, feel hotter than where I used to live. So I'm going to put our oscilloscope down here, then have Serum up there, and we just start with a sine wave basic shapes. You can set a phase, make sure that that's at 0 so that we always re-trigger. And then we want to start work on our pitch envelope. And the first one is just going to go for the general tone of it. So something like this. Goes to there, and we'll set this to somewhere like that. Then the second is going to be our click, which we can also set to 1/8. And here we're just going to go all the way down. So we want this click to be very sharp, and then it stops pitching it. I love sunshine more than anything. Yeah, I'm also a fan of the sunshine, but with the humidity it's a bit too much sometimes. Here we want to go to the master tuning. You cannot route these both to the same course pitch. That won't work. You have to do one to a course pitch and the other to master tuning. I choose to do the click to the course pitch, but it doesn't really matter. And now you can play with some of the settings and just kind of create the shape that you want. Maybe something like that. Now we can set up our amp envelope. Sorry for that. So usually for a sidetrans kick you're doing something like this. Let's actually make it this long. And we set it to 1/8 because we just want our kick to spend half of the time of the whole beat, basically. Our click is a little bit too sharp, I would say. We can also choose to make this a 1/16 note so that it just goes faster. One of the things that I look out for is seeing where the phase lines up here. Now it's pretty close to 0, so that's good because then you can nicely layer in bass stuff in there. If it's tuned, if you use it properly, so this would be for 143 BPM, you can line this up nicely. It doesn't really matter because I'm assuming that these kicks are going to be used for a whole bunch of different BPMs and stuff like that. So there's other better ways to make sure that the bass doesn't clash there, and it doesn't really matter, but if you can have it, then it's nice. So now comes the processing, and I don't like to do stuff in Serum itself. What I like to do is use the EQ from Melda Productions. Make sure you always put it in front of Sidescope, and Sidescope is really your guide into looking at how the shape looks. And then for anything else, like a spectrum, you can use whatever you have here. So let me close that. Let's play this. And what I see is that the spectrum is pretty basic in that it's pretty flat. And usually what I like for kick drums is to have a little bit of detail in there. So the way you do that in Serum is with one of these attack kick things, and you just set one of these up. You find one that actually works. Usually one that is as short as possible. And what that will do, if we go back into the equalizer, is you can see it messes with your spectrum and just makes it a bit more interesting. And also dirties it up a little bit. So then we can high pass that one. Make sure that the low end is not affected. And now we can EQ this. So looking at this, I want some more stuff here. What we can do is add a hat to this. So the hat is in here. These are the hi-hats I use for that, stuff like this. Mainly this one. Sorry. Let's name this source and hat. Now this hat is way too long. Normally you want about 30 milliseconds. So you can see that this is at 30 milliseconds. It's still doing a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to like cut it right about there-ish. Sorry. And then we're gonna do something like this. It's a bit too loud, so we're gonna turn that down. And turn it down a bit more still. Now we need to put size scope here, and we can just see what's going on. I want to see in terms of timing how long that head takes. Ideally, I would want it to be a bit snappier, so like having a compression on this later part here. So the way I'm going to set this up, and the way I recommend when you're dealing with specific ideas in sound design, like compression on this thing, is to have a visual. Normally it's best to do compression by ear, a lot of people say, but for stuff like this where you exactly know what you want to achieve and what you want to do, I would recommend doing it by eye using the waveform. So we want no attack because we want it to trigger almost immediately. I would say a little bit of attack, 2 milliseconds, maybe like 6 or something. A release long enough that it scoops out everything after that. And now we can play with that. So let's see what we get from here. Let's kind of remove like 4 decibels we're removing. This is the gain reduction, this graph here. You can see 5.4 what we're removing. Maybe it's a bit too strong. Can dial it back a little bit. And I just want to scoop out some of the lower frequencies in this hat. Like that lower piercing thing there. It's kind of tilted upwards a bit more. You can try to get rid of that single resonance. It does give it a lot of character, but I think it might clash a bit too much. Now turning that down, we get this. And we can again look at the waveform. You can see that there's a lot more energy in here than in there. And I like to fix that a little bit. Again with the dynamics. Default. Yeah, you can see there's a lot more energy in the transient than there is in the body. With no attack, pretty slow release or pretty fast release. Oh. Why is it doing? It's doing some kind of auto make. Okay, yeah, that's not what we want. Ideally, we would trigger just the transient. Something like this. Let's look at that. You can see how it's just affecting the transient and keeping that in line. We can do another round of EQing, maybe get some more character into this. First of all, I want to high pass it. And I'm gonna go to this one. And just slightly dip that one down. kind of see if we can scoop it out and get a nice shape out of it. It's maybe a bit too much. So let's record this. I'm gonna go to just call that kick, and we should see it here somewhere. Kick 11, kick. There we are. Be able to boom like that. And now we can look at it. We can normalize it first of all. It's important that you do that. And what I see is that it lacks still a little bit of bottom, I would say. I'd say it could use a little bit more extra sub. You might not want to have that at 0. That might be a bit too much. Also, I think the high end could be a bit crispier. So a little bit more towards the extreme high end and then a little bit less towards like the high mid area. So let's tackle those two problems. Just like this. Like a little tilt in there. And then we boost the low. Call this second EQ. And I'm fine that this is our recording track. This goes to second EQ, and this records it. And we're just going to look through if everything is nice and clean. It does seem like it. It does seem like it nicely fades out here. That's no issue. And now we have a kick. That's how you make kicks. And it's because what, like 15 minutes? So if I do that for another few kicks, I want to get this back to like 30 kicks maybe. And the idea behind these kicks is that they're for fairly general mainstream sidetrance use, like the one I make. So no forced kicks, no dark side kicks, that kind of thing, no high-tech stuff. But they are like all sounding like this. This is number 10. Yeah, one of these kicks is not in the pack because I didn't like the way it came out, or I had like a duplicate maybe. I don't remember. I know that this one is in here. This is that. Let's have a listen to this one. Yeah. Yeah. Kick number 7. This might not be in there. That might be this one. Okay. This is the same as this one then. It does look like it. Almost. No, not really. And this one might not be in there. That's pretty strange. I do like this kick though, so I can add this as just like number 11. doesn't really matter the order in which we synthesize them with regards to the order that they appear in the pack, as long as they do appear in that pack. So I'm gonna move on to our next kick. And now I just want to try doing it in Vital and seeing if we can make it sound better or make it kick sound in Vital as well. Because then I would be able to do a tutorial on the sense that making kicks not only in Serum, because Serum is starting to get outdated on YouTube. So doing stuff in Vital is in my best interest in terms of tutorial stuff. It would be the same idea though. You set up your you set up your envelopes. 1/8 here. If there's a bit of oomph, you can play with that. And then we set this to envelope. No smoothing. That's very important. And I want the coarse pitch. Transpose level. Is there a coarse pitch for, or can I just drag it on the transpose and will that work? Let's see. Again, this is just experimentation, so now I'm just playing a note. I should be back. Everything should be back up. I'm just waiting for the project to open and then we'll get back into it. Do I want, would you like to recover your work? Yes. Some of this stuff isn't going to be saved, but that's okay. We just need to start from scratch. I hope that this doesn't happen again. It might have been because I haven't turned off my PC in a while. Like I've left it running overnight to render things for the music video. Back like magic. Okay, nice. Thanks for the confirmation. It's just taking a while to open up the project. I'll get myself something to drink. It's strange. I thought that my crash was related to the camera using the using my camera for streaming. Apparently not, because it was the same exact crash looking thing. Like it looked the same for me in terms of the crash. It might just be that my computer is just not suited for streaming, but that is strange because I've streamed on it before and sometimes it just works for a few hours and sometimes it just doesn't. Like this was how long ago? Like half an hour into the stream. Okay. Desktop. Here we are. I have no idea where I would look for this issue, where I would find what is going wrong here with the with this kind of crashing. But we are back. We can just go straight back into it, act like nothing happened. So we'll go into Vital again. And kind of like I said before, it's the same idea. We get ourselves a basic shape. We get ourselves a shape like this for our body of the kick. Why is there a point there? I have to see. If this keeps on happening, I need to fix it. And I might spend another afternoon troubleshooting my PC in Opperville. Yeah. This might be an issue that is not fixed just with a new webcam. I hope I can do this and tune it up more than just 4 octaves. I would need to see though. That doesn't really help. If you cannot tune it up more than 4 octaves. Yes, you can. You can hear how it becomes even sharper. Yeah, it's not a CPU issue. I think it's a GPU issue, because what I can see is a whole bunch of, like, I would say 10 by 10 squares flickering in different colors. Like one is bright yellow, the other is like bright purple, and then they form this kind of pattern. And you can see that something is wrong because it just covers the whole screen and my original desktop is gone, but you can slightly see through it and get some of the shapes, like the window shapes. I can see like this window. I will be able to see like my OBS window and the chat window, and on my third monitor I'll be able to see the window of like Chrome that I have open. So it's definitely an issue with like in the graphics department, but I wouldn't know how to fix it. I've updated my drivers, I've updated everything, and it just keeps on doing it. It might be just my particular CPU not working or something. Can I get this? Yeah, okay. Okay, now we can set up our volume. We'll set it up like this, kind of like how we did it in Serum. Set up like this. Envelope. Let's have a look at that in Syscope. And of course I need to play this then. I'll make a MIDI note. The key doesn't really matter. Like, we're not trying to tune anything. I can see a bit of attack in there. That's the first thing to address. And that probably comes from amp envelope, like this now. Or it's the smoothing. Yeah. It does seem to be. Bit too high. We might be able to tune it down a bit. Something like that, yes. Okay, there is hopefully noise field recordings. There's not a lot in here. Let me quickly add the ones from Serum. Noises. Yeah, here there's a whole bunch of different attacks. I want this to be not looping. I don't want it bit stacked. And I want to set an envelope for this. So this is kind of going to follow the same amp envelope as this transient segment here. So we set that to 1/8, maybe even a bit shorter, just like this. And this is just to make sure that it's just at the start. I also need to set the phase to 0. Let's do some EQing on this. I'm also going to add LP. If I want to do a low cut, then I can do it with LP. Oh, I need to set this a lot in milliseconds. Goes a bit quicker. There we are. Or I want to high pass it at 24. And also a low pass here. Getting some of this area out slightly. I'm just kind of looking at the overall volume shape of this curve here. And I guess I don't need this then. Let's have... Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Glad you enjoy my content. So one of the artifacts of me now having to restart my PC and streaming again is that when I opened Chrome and I restored all tabs to get back in here as soon as possible, I now have 2 chats, and I'm constantly worried that the chat that I normally use isn't being refreshed anymore. But now seeing messages come through there, seeing that it refreshes there as well, yeah, it just confirms that it still keeps being updated, which is nice. I would say that this is a bit too sharp, maybe. Like I might have overdone the EQing just a bit. It also lacks that really nice high end, the extreme high end that we kind of want. So there's a few things still that I want to do. I want to slightly duck 500. And we're gonna add some of that nicer high end to it with another hat. And it's the same idea as before. In fact, I'm going to steal... did it not... Oh, here it is. The hat processing. So I can just drag in a hat, time it properly, and then we should have a hat that works. Drums, hi-hats, something like this. Gonna put this all together. This is then kick 12. This is the body and this is the hat. This is our recording. Make this all orange. I want this head to stop a lot slower. So now what we can do is we can use this waveform to kind of determine where we want our head to stop. And also looking at this waveform, what we could do is have this just be shorter. You get that? Now let's look at it. I'm almost certain that in the middle we're gonna have some... Oh. Oh. Like this. Yeah, we just want one of those. Oh, this is still recording the body. I'm stupid. This should be recording the whole kick, obviously. Yeah, now it should show the whole kick. It's actually looking pretty good. What is our frequency there? That's looking nice, around 50 Hertz. That's kind of what you want. So this is looking like a nice kick drum. So maybe, just maybe we want... Let's first normalize this, see where we get our sub level at. Oh, that's pretty good. It could be a little bit more, but that's because I like sub heavy kicks for sidetrans. Some people like their sub to be a little bit lower in volume, and some people like them to be very pronounced, like very bass heavy. I know that Dash doesn't like the extreme sub. He tends to remove also a lot of his lower mid-range from things, from like leads and stuff. He's talked about his mixing curve being like you have your sub and then a very big scoop out of that, and I'm not really a fan of that. So this is number 12. And I need to see how long I've been streaming here. So that's 40 minutes. I normally have that in OBS, that information. So I'm used to looking there, but because I restarted, it's actually not accurate. But that's okay. Let's do another one with Vital. This is also good training. Let's say that I need a specific kick in the future for a track, then having made a whole bunch of them, it would be it's a good training for me. Name the kick. For now they're all named just quality kicks, and then I have them organized like this. I'm not really a fan of those sample packs that gives like special names to them. Might have an example of what I mean here. The capital drum. Yeah, stuff like this. I'm not a fan of this kind of thing because it really doesn't identify too much. This is, I think, like, yeah. All kind of that stuff. I'm not a fan of that. So I'm not naming my kick in that sense. It's just all part of the same overarching sample pack, which is Quality Kicks Volume 1. Which hints at a possibility of a Volume 2 in the future. I think I want a bit more of a clicky, oomphy kind of kick here. So I'm going to lengthen this body pitch thing here. And then here, forgot to turn off the smoothing and set this to envelope. I think by default, the smoothing should be off for something like this out of faux here. I don't know, it doesn't really add anything to it. having the curve not do exactly what you tell it to do as a default option doesn't really, for me it doesn't really make sense why that would be the default. Let's see what we get with the... I do like this kind of a little bit more oomphy kick, right? So a little bit more mid-range heavy. And we're getting at 38. We can go a bit higher still, like here. Go one higher. Usually I like the high 40s in terms of where I want my final kick to rest on. Something like that. We can go into Vital again, and we can start to play with the volume envelope. Going to remove less of the post transient here, because I want that to come through a bit more. And then the sub is going to like tail off a little bit more like this. And I'm going to turn off smoothing. Set this to envelope again. 1/8 goes to the level. And we can add another kick transient. Oh. We're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to make sure that the kick transient stays in its little transient area here of the kick. This is going to go to the level as well. Is there a way to set an initial phase for this thing? Not really, is there? Okay, I want this to go to filter number 2. And I want this to be a high pass. And we're gonna drive it a little bit to make I want this area to be a bit louder, the volume of it up. My plan was to just drive it in there. But that doesn't seem to work. I use the dirty one. Doesn't seem to drive it as much as I want, which is strange. I guess we could just EQ it. That's not really a big deal. That's nice. Now I want to get rid of the single spike that we have there. Get a very steep EQ curve and we find it. Probably loop this while doing this, that makes it a lot easier. There we are. Go up like that. The rest a bit of a boost still. We're clipping a little bit here. Also, I want fairly gentle curve down here a bit. Get some of that magic 600 area out of the way. Something that Eclipse once mentioned in one of his courses, I think I got that from, is that you want to scoop out around 600 usually in your kick drums when you're making them, because that's a frequency range that we really don't like that pitch sweep in. So I've been doing that ever since, and it just seems to work. Okay, so we have a heavy transient and not enough sub, as you can see. And the sub really doesn't have a nice shape. So the way we're going to fix that is we're going to use a utility. And with the utility, I want to dial in kind of the opposite. This will remove some of. I should be getting back, hopefully. I do seem to be back. Yeah, there we are. Sometimes my connection just drops. This is not the best streaming setup out there. I'm just gonna tell you. Like PC issues, connection issues, everything. It's clipping it pretty strongly. Might even want to go like this. Let's see what we get now. Even with that at -5 after clipping. Okay, no, that makes no sense. Why after clipping does it still do that then? Let's look like this. Okay, so that's too much. We can play with this just by recording. Okay, there's an EQ band we haven't used yet here. Number 3. Want to get a slight dip in here as well. Should give us a bit of a crisper transient. I do like this. Sounds nice. A good way to test your kicks, and what I've been doing, for example, in this one. With this one, I was really quite unsure if I like the kick. And this one I made on speakers, so what I do is add the bass line to it. Together with the bass line, it does sound nice, but on its own, it's a bit... I don't really know how to describe it. A bit strange. Let's name these tracks. Source and recording. And we'll turn this into kick 13. I don't really know where I want to get to today. I didn't have any specific objective set in the sense that I want to get this many kicks done. This is kind of just exploring how fast can I do a kick, what are some of the workflow things that I can do. So, seeing as it's almost been an hour, what I want to do is I want to take a quick break, and then I want to go back and do another session of making some kicks. Or do you guys want production more? I can also go into production. I'll let you guys, while I'm away, let you guys listen to few ideas, one after the other. And then guys, you guys can say, if you want, which idea you want me to work on, if any. And if you guys want me to do production more than anything like kick related, then we can also go into production as well. So I'm gonna place down, I guess, 3 ideas. And we'll see which one is the most popular, which one you like. So we'll call this idea 1, idea 2. I would really like some participation here, just to see what you guys like as well, because it's not just my stream, right? This is idea 3. So I'm going to kind of do a poll just by you guys talking into chat. And how long is this? This is 12 minutes long. That's a long break. But I'll have you listen to these tracks, and I'll just get back when I'm finished with my break. And you can vote either idea 1, idea 2, and idea 3. And then we'll see if those are the most popular, or if people want to see me do more kick stuff and talk a little bit more about the technical kick making process. We can do whatever out of those things. You guys can basically choose what you want to do between those 2 options, between one of these productions or the kicks. So let's see. What should I do? Should I continue working on kicks? Do you guys want to see more kick drums? Do you want to see idea 1, idea 2, or idea 3? Out of these ones, I would personally say that idea 1 is my favorite. But that might not be the same for you. Would love to know what you want. My idea with streams like this is just to see, you know, be a little bit more interactive with my chat and the people watching. Let's just play this out here. I hope, by the way, that the volumes are okay of my microphone with this music, that you can hear me over it. Hi Silex, long time no see. David, how are you doing? Nice to see you coming in. Volumes are good, nice. Seeing as you guys are just joining and this song is finished, I had a proposal. I was working on kick drums here in this project and I was talking a little bit about this stuff, and I just proposed the idea. Do you guys want to continue me working on kick drums? Do you want me to continue working on this and just explain some of the technicalities of kick drums, or do you want me to work on one of these 3 ideas here? Those were the 4 options. So you heard idea 3, and we'll go over idea 1 really quickly. I'll just play like a little bit of it so you guys can get an idea of what we're dealing with here. Personally, this is my favorite. Like a little bit more of a foresty style track is the idea, but with a different bass line. We can work on this one, and obviously once we have chosen one, I'll play it through the whole way, but I'll just play some demo parts here. And then we have idea number 2, which is this very undeveloped track. You like the idea 1? Over listen to this one. This is a bit more of a like housey vibe. It's called the Bongo Club because it has a lot of like bongo loops in there. We have 1 vote. I'm gonna take that as 1 vote for idea 1. And then this is idea number 3 here. Recovering from COVID too, but things are returning to normal. Oh shit. Nice to hear that you're doing better then. I've luckily not had to deal with COVID. This is idea 3. And again, we can also just do kick drums, but it seems like people prefer idea number 1. And I can see that because that's the latest idea that I've been working on, and I spent a little bit more time on this one than the other 2. Like especially this second one is just very undeveloped. You like idea number 3, so this one. This has that cool vocal thing in here. This vocoded, weird vocally mess that we hear now. Seems to be a little bit of a preference for idea number 1. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with that. I don't see anybody really interested in kick drums, and just personally from what I can tell when I do these streams is that people tend to enjoy the production side more than just me sitting down in one of these projects, like also what I did with the atmospheres and just making individual sounds. So I think I'm probably better off just doing production on stream from now on, and then I will do all of these individual sounds like off stream. So which means that we're going to open idea number 1 and we're going to listen to it and we're going to work on it. My camera seems a bit off. There we are. Oh, it's lined up, right? No. This. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I just found that the problem is that people are fairly enthusiastic with when I start up one of those like projects where I do sounds and explain some of the intricacies in it. But once I'm like an hour in or something, then it gets boring, and I can see it also in like the trend of the viewers and everything, that people kind of tune out and they're gonna watch other stuff, and obviously that's not what you want if you're a content creator. So I'm just going to turn everything down, and then we'll have a full listen through of the track, and we'll see what we're getting into. Yeah, working on kicks could be boring to watch, yes. But also with the atmosphere, when I made the atmosphere pack, right, the one that I just released, I made basically these 4 folders all on stream, and this one, I think. Perhaps I just inspire people to go and work on that track, so it might be. In that case, it's a good idea. It's a good thing. I'm pretty happy with the intro already, although it's a bit boring. Might have some like one-shot atmospheres at the like effects and stuff like that in here. A cool thing I wanted to show. The way it looks on here. On the spectrogram, it looks really cool. Even this section. bass sounds good. Thank you. I can quickly run it, through this bass line, through the patch. Should be fairly simple. Once we finish listening to it, I'll quickly run down the bass patch. So that's the track up until now. Yeah, that's quickly as requested, I'll walk through the bass patch. So here what we have is I have a saw wave with the harmonics slightly modified. You can just draw in this, like these bins. I think I added it just the lower three, like above everything else here, it's normal. And then also the phase of this one, which gives this a little bit stranger curve here. And we have a second oscillator, also plays a saw wave, no modifications to the phase, but again, rolling off some of these lower harmonics. Here I just remove them completely because I don't want any bass from this. And then this is detuned and it's playing still from the same phase, so there's no randomness in here. Also this phase is set at a specific point. But it's playing two oscillators. I think I might have... No, so this is stereo. You can see it's stereo. So that just adds a bit of stereo width to it. Because these get out of phase pretty quick with the detuning on it. And therefore you get that stereo effect from it. This is responsible for the filter cutoff. We have this shape here in the LFO 1/4. And then we have a similar shape here. This does a little bit on the main oscillator and a lot on the second oscillator. And then it also removes some of the soft clipping in here. I think a lot of the power comes from the effects. So I'll quickly have, obviously a lot of the volume comes from there. So without it. Also the sidechaining obviously is now removed, so this just gives it a bit more its own space, right? It moves it a little bit more to the lower frequencies as well. And it's mainly this vitamin doing it, so I'm really pumping the lower mids here, which is up until like 160, and then this is set to 60, and we're also pumping that. This is, I think it's doing a bit of saturation on there, so if you want to replicate that. But the reason why I use vitamin especially is because I really like the cutoff filters that they use for the filtering. It adds a lot of nice phasing to it. So if you want to process your bassline and get some nice phasing on it, then vitamin is definitely recommended. And it usually goes up for sale quite often, and you can grab it for like, I think $39. Let me see. Vitamin is currently up for sale for $30. Normally it's €250. That's a deal. Then we have LFO tool for simple sidechaining. This is my filtering rack, so if I want to high pass or low pass this bassline, I'm not really going to low pass it because it's already, or I think maybe in like the break somewhere. And then we have a final EQ, cutting out some of the higher areas here, this area, which otherwise sounded a bit overpowered. Hello, Upsider, nice to see you here as well. Okay, so that's the baseline if you want to recreate that. Yeah, it's definitely still at 30. And they buy one plugin, get one free. Some of their plugins are free if you buy one of the plugins. So that's they have these things where they have like this week offer only or this weekend offer only, but the offer is basically running almost always on waves. Like they give their plugins away almost always at very low prices. So that's really cool. You're almost always able to grab it for a very nice price, which is obviously one of their sales techniques. Like I wouldn't normally buy Vitamin if it was for $250, but now that it's $30, then it's a nice way to get that kind of sound, right? So I'm thinking we're getting up to 4 minutes here. It's time for a little break. So the idea is a forced track, right? So with this bass, with all of the synths that you hear, they're definitely more like forced sidetrends than what I normally do. So that's the idea. And what that means is that you often also have fairly short breaks. So here we're going for a break of, it might go even shorter actually. Just like just over 20 seconds maybe, right? This would be, yeah, just over 20 seconds, 25 seconds. So in this case, I do think that I want to just filter everything out like this. Go down over like the first 4 bars and then go back up again. And then from here, I'm gonna go like this. I just want to add that to my chain here. Low pass, high pass, and I'm gonna this high pass from that because I don't want that there. Let's just have a listen to how that sounds. Also gonna remove the volume from that a bit, just like a little bit of lower volume here. And we'll not have that last one. And go back to 0. And I can do the same volume automation on this one here. So I want my sidechain after that EQ, so it catches all of the phasing that does. Paid a little bit more than that, but it's almost always on sale. Yes, yes. Let's quickly see what we get if we do that. Just looking at the reduction in volume that we're getting from this automation setup that we have now. Yeah, get nice and low. That works well for a breakdown. And we'll go back up to the high end. And then here we would just need to add more elements to it, obviously. Let's get sound designing. Let's get some nice leads in here. Or probably more bad atmosphere sounds. What I've been doing for this, and this is a technique that I found just after releasing my atmosphere pack. Let's see if I can do it in Vital. I've been doing this in Serum. Where you take a sample, noise. If I go into noise, then this SOR, right? I think. Yeah, this is the one with the bone crusher. I think I got this from either Ollie Music or Mute Production. I think it was Ollie who showed this off, but in Serum is if you have this tuned, this sample, or any sample basically in here, and you can do some cool manipulation on that with the effects. Like we can add some chorus to it, we can add a pretty strong phaser. I want to set the modulation myself, so we can just modulate this. Let's set as many poles as we want. And now I can use like a random here on the center. Instead of following a normal sine wave modulation, it follows random modulation, and then you just set this to 16 notes. I want a bit of smoothing if that's possible. Guess we can go like this maybe. And then I would like to have a comb filter in here somewhere. I believe, yeah, comb filter. There we are. Let me quickly get the frequency. So this track is in G sharp. So I'm going to get 51.92. I just get that from a website. Enter value 51. And we'll add some delay to this. Let's set it to dotted ping pong. And then you just go through a full reverb. And you get all of these wet, weird, strange kind of textures doing that. Like I've created this one here. And then there's this one. Nice like crackling effect. Can't you type in the note in Vital? I think you can, maybe, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not that experienced with Vital. Can you? If I enter like G1, no. I might need to set it, because right now I have my display in Hertz. I need to maybe set it to semitones. And then I would be able to maybe G1. G3. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. I don't think you can, unless there's something that I'm missing. But I like to have it in Hertz, because I can just use this website here, this one, which is what I use for frequencies and note lengths. And then if I need delay timings, I can just go 1000 divided by whatever frequency that I have to get the delay timing for that. Because if you don't know, if you take a delay and you set that to, let's do that right now. So I'm gonna go 5191, which is the frequency of G1 on this spreadsheet, G sharp 1, sorry. Go 1000 divided by that frequency. I get 19.26. Then set this to 19.26. We get the delay, which is delaying the sound such that the length between each delay is the same as like the note. It's a bit hard to explain. You can set it to ping pong to half that time, and then you get this. You get a nice gritty texture to it. Which is not what we're after right now, because we want that reverb texture, right? So I'm gonna go. We'll start a bit lower. Maybe start playing one here. Give it some attack. Something like this. Here I'm doing the same thing. I can basically copy this over as well. Maybe even these vocals in here would sound nice. I wanted to do something here with a bit more stereo width on these vocals. They sound very mono to me. I want them to be a bit more epic sounding. Go down like this. Kind of just randomly stops. Might be cool to just then completely filter it out like this. Kind of the opposite of what you would normally have, where something like this would like delay into the drop. I did the same thing here with this flute, which just completely stops and then the drop plays. You get that nice impact of it starting, right? Looking at the waveform, you can see it just completely goes to zero. And therefore this kick just has an extra bit of impact to it, which I really like. It's a cool trick. Want to do that here the same, but this vocal might not be the best for that. So let's delete that then. Here I noticed that there's maybe some low end in here. Hello, Mindbee. Nice to see you here as well. This one has a really long reverb. Maybe a bit too long. pretty cool how it almost like completely stops. This one also like fades out here towards the end, which adds to that effect. Practicing guitar during stream if you don't mind. I don't mind anything. You can do whatever you want. I'm just glad that you're tuning in every once in a while. Can maybe add a bit of noise effect under this. So we would have a bandpass filter. No, let's do one with a flanger. What you do is you go like this, go slightly up, and you get that like pitching up effect. The flanger. Right? And obviously we want a bandpass as well, because otherwise it's just too much. Might be a bit too extreme on the flanger, but we'll see. Add some parallel processing there. Down here, this. It loses some of that volume towards it. Maybe even a full wet. That's nice in stereo. From here I would also need to check what we're gonna do next here. Starting to really sweat. It's getting warmer and warmer in my room. If I were to open a window, it wouldn't really help. I like that kick. Thank you. I kind of want to hear how we transition here. This one was a bit too loud. This one was a bit too mono. Might be able to do something cool with this flute again. It's playing now. It's turned off, obviously. Need to get this back to 0. I would need to set the other modulations, yes. This back to 0 as well. Would kind of work as a flute. Can you put some on the duck? I don't know what the duck is. Armenian double reed woodwind instrument. Okay, interesting. I might be able to get something out of Omnisphere. Let's see. I'm hoping it will let me open Omnisphere. I don't think I have it open yet in the project, and then it also always takes a lot of resources the first time you open it. It's okay. Doesn't seem to be in here. Maybe in the samples there's something. Yeah, when I get melody ideas, not even before going to sleep, I just use voice notes, right? So this melody here, this one is a good example of that. This I got while I was out with friends, and I just kind of secluded to a little area where there was not a lot of noise and just whistled this idea. And then the next morning I woke up and I made it. So then at maximum you spent like 30 seconds recording your idea, right? Not too much more. Let's see. I'm hoping I can get a sample. It doesn't seem to be here. I don't have any deduct. Maybe I have some sample. I have some. I would like to have a playable instrument though. This is all like already notes, right? Like a melody. So that's pretty hard. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I might be able to get something else here. World instruments. All. So this is this one. It's a guitar-ish thing. Russian flute. That's pretty cool. You might be able to make something cool with this. Like rising here. I think I want the kick and bass a little bit on their own. And then from here we start like rising. We start with maybe a nice and lower one. Just going to plan out some different notes here. And what I usually do, take these notes and then I can render them out and make like put volume curves on them. So I get 4 octaves of this. It's maybe a bit excessive, but we might use it. And I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get the 7th, and to get another 7th with 1 octave up. Finally, we get 2 octaves down again. That might be enough. Let's leave it by that, just power chords. Freeze all of them. Let's put an Easter egg in one of his videos on the background. There were 50 channels with duck loaded on them. I haven't seen that. I use my voice recorder and hum them. Yeah, the same what I do. With instead of the voice recorder, I have my phone because I'll have it always on me, and I don't have like a good quality voice recorder otherwise. So my phone, yeah, for just melodies and remembering stuff, that will do. Now we flatten it, and now we can draw in whatever volume curves that we want. Takes a bit of time to process and turn it into an actual. There we are. Then, for example, this one, we made this. Let's do it with utility. We have this come in, say, here. Then this first one comes in directly at the start, like this. This one a little bit later still. And then the final one towards the end. Here. It's kind of winging it right now. The reassigns to it. I kind of remembered which one were in which octaves. So this would be here, and maybe a bit forward. Let's group this all together so we can listen to the whole thing in one go. This is going to be pretty loud, I think. It's pretty cool. I do like the chord idea. Put some delay on this might work. And having some of the lower ones fade out towards the end. That's pretty cool. Nice long reverb on there. Oh, where did I put that? Put it on an individual track. That's not what we want. We want this on here as well. We want to edit the volume curve a little bit. I'm gonna go up right there, down again, and then up. Something like this. This is pretty cool, yeah. Okay, need to remove the modulations there. Make sure that it's and then from here, now that we've had this like real world instrument, we get into some more of the synth sounds again, so you might be able to do something cool with this one, which is like a classic Captain Hook clicky sound, right? Make sure that it's in the right octave. It's very low, it's played at -2. We'll go up with the feedback. Go up with macro 1, go down with the pitch, like so, and then towards the end we'll also have the echo come in. Thinking of some more natural sounds, so some animals. Sounds pretty cool. Place that right here at the end of that sound. Get this at like minus. This down to A sharp, G sharp. I guess it could be B as well. That works in the key, technically. It might be cool to have a note that is not the root note here then. Up a bit more. Start a new song? No, what I did is after like 50 minutes of working on the kicks, I decided production might be a bit more interesting. And I gave 3 ideas. This is a fairly new song in terms of the project. I've never shown this on stream. But I already obviously started working on it before the stream. This is not all made in the stream. Turn that delay off there so we have a nice clean area to work with. I feel like that initial click that we get, not the delay ones, but the initial one can be a bit more stereo. You get this. And we'll have a little fill here. Let's do like this. We can place this drum fill here maybe. Need to remove the low end from that probably. Yeah. And then from here we go into the drums with the hi-hats and everything. This has that clap right here. Yeah, just have the drums come back in. And we'll do some detail work. How long have I been streaming? 1 hour 44 minutes. I'll continue a little bit more. One of the other things that I wanted to do was focus a bit on the intro. So sounds like these, which Psyder really likes. We can put all of that in the intro as well, maybe. Here's another one. Just like this other cool animal sound. And this one you can put here maybe. That doesn't really make sense in terms of spacing. We would want to have that there and there. And we take these, put those there. This is a nice spacing in between there. Ghaffar Youssef. I don't know him. No. What does he do? Is he like Dennis McKenna, that kind of guy? Like spiritual talks, that kind of stuff? Remove some of the high end from this. But it's not too high endy right at the start. The same thing. And they vary. Might even see something like this, where we just have it turn up the volume. What does Ghaffar Youssef do? Since you're the only one who seems to know him here, might be. Would you mind telling us? I don't know if I like this one exactly when the drop hits. Might be cool to have that here somewhere. I'll give you a link. Yeah, I don't think I want to listen to it now with like content ID and stuff on YouTube or like on stream, but send me a link on Discord and then I can listen to it after stream. Yeah, might be. Just send it on Discord, the link. I'll listen to it after the stream. As I said, no copyright claims. Bit dangerous. Maybe it's good for these to come in a little bit more gently. Come in like this, maybe. This sound is also very loud. Just thinking what I wanted to do, I had an idea here. Let me think again. Oh yeah. I wanted to do something with bongos and stuff like that, kind of like more ethnic drums. Go to all results. No, first I want to get a drum rack. Instruments, drum rack on this MIDI track. Go to bongo and then find some cool sounds from this. This one. Looking for a little bit more authentic, so nothing like synthesized. At 30 already. 29, so 30. And one more. Make sure that you made all the sounds in the stream, and if you get a copyright claim, just don't agree, and you can even claim the sounds they claim to own because you have to prove that you made it. It doesn't really work that way. Copyright doesn't really work that way, and it's like, and the reason for that is also pretty obvious. It's because a lot of producers are not the owners of the music they make. So it's not really like a... Isn't Congo also... You have bongos and the other one. We can just search for percussions. Go to percussions. This is a cool sound. Yeah, in terms of copyright, even if I can prove like I made this project, it doesn't mean that I own the rights to that project. At least not automatically. The only way you can really prove copyright is by registering your copyright in one of the copyright databases. I'm not really planning to do that for all of my live streams. Just gonna get an abundance of percussions in this, and then we can write maybe like a melodic thing out of it, or just like a cool loop. Post the link on Discord. I'll check it out after the stream. Here. We'll just fill up this drum rack and then it's okay. You don't have to go too crazy. We might not use all of them. This one's cool. I like that one that I skipped over here. This one is cool. What was that last one? A little bit of an ass sound in it. This one, I think. Yeah, you do have the copyright, but the problem with copyright is it's hard to prove, right? Like the license that you have for your music, you can sell it. And therefore somebody else can claim that I sold my license to them. So if I want to make sure that I can prove that I own the copyright of something, I would need to keep, I need to prove somewhere that I have that license. And the way that you do that is by registering your copyright. That's the reason why it's not like if you don't register your copyright, then you don't have the rights to your music. It's just that nobody knows. So they can just say whatever. That's kind of the problem. We can do this generatively. That might be fun. Okay. Yeah. Now we get an arpeggiator. We get a different MIDI track where we can record from. And then we can take the pieces that we like. So 39 is our first MIDI track here. And duplicate this over a whole bunch. I guess we need to work in the rhythm as well. Go like this. Maybe. Let's see what that sounds like, if we can get some nice results from that. Oh, I want this random other. This should be enough. Now we can place all of this on there. And we can mess with some of the different ideas. So I like this first version a lot, and then I liked very much what was happening here. So my idea is just to go like this. We'll have the second one here, the third one here, and the fourth here, I guess. This would be our loop. It's a bit long. The big problem with copyright law is that the person that is usually claiming your stuff usually has better lawyers than you. That's the real problem. get this to a level. This might not be the place for it. It might be here. And can build around it. Goes down a little bit too quick, this effect sound here. I like how this starts off with that noisy part. A resonator on it, on the congos, on this stuff. Yeah, now we can build around it. We can do some experimentation here with this. Might not be exactly what I want. It's a bit too fast, maybe. I want to keep one of these. Oh, I want to keep the whole thing, obviously. And we'll zero that out for now. And then I can try times 2ing it. And just making it longer. Oh yeah, obviously this, you can just do it like this. I'm actually doing a video on resonators soon. The idea behind it is doing some crazy sound design with it, with the resonator specifically in mind. It's a very cool effect actually. What I like is to just stack octaves, like this. Might be cool to LFO this with a nice sine wave. It's a good idea actually. I like what came out of it. We set this to 4 bars maybe. Yeah, it sounds good. It's a good idea. What I also wanted to try is maybe have the original faster idea, so without the resonators as well, in the intro, and just have that provide a little bit of a backing drums to what's already happening. A lot lower. Frequency, we can bring the volume of it down a lot. Thank you guys. Nice to see some new people coming in. I'll have this one a lot more stereo, I guess. Have this bringing the stereo information. Get a nice wide sound out of it. Now we have this. That works. Just to test if the vocal on there sounds nice, or maybe we want that somewhere else. Also thinking of having this one in line with the other one, where it plays just before, like the section, right? I feel like this one brings out too fast. Set this to 97, 98 maybe. Sorry, this delay makes it. Thank you for all the compliments, by the way. Glad you like it. I don't know if I'm a fan of having you can just have this. You can also add this sound that I made, which is a really crazy sound. You can see what the delay is doing here. It's going absolutely crazy. Ooh, want the whole thing. You just have that come up over time. Let's see how this sounds. Discrete vision art with that. I don't know if I want to get into like ARPs for this track. I have one in here already. Is this doing vision? No, this is doing normal minor stuff. preferably going back into some more foresty synth sounds, foresty ideas like we're doing here with the atmospheres and everything. I also completely forgot to add sidechain triggers to everything we've done so far. I should probably do that. So this is the break. Just quickly fix the sidechain triggers. This one needs to go here. We also have the double kick right there, so I'm not going to go here so that the vocal shines through a bit more. This one goes there. Let's duplicate this over, make sure that everything works. Anyway, we pause here. I'm not yet sidechaining a lot, but just having the trigger there is a good idea. Probably need some more atmospheres to fill up this empty space here, which then just leads into the drop. Your stream is really cool, by the way. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. I'm also glad a lot of people are showing up. That really makes it nice to stream, having a few people in chat. Might copy over some of these synth sounds again. Play every once in a while. From here we just go into the next section of the drop, I guess. Guess I'm going for a longer section here then. And I could remove the clap from this, I guess. Then we have the same structure as this section, basically in the sense that we first add the hats and then the clap. I do want to remove from here this loop. Wait. Yeah, let's copy this over too. Shake head on beat. Yes. Yes, when I get into my music, I start shaking my head in sync with the beat. I might go like this here. The track made me think loud a bit. Loud. To be honest, I don't quite know what that is. Might be a track that I've heard of, but nothing comes to mind straight away. yeah, and then from here we would get into a whole bunch of forest synths. What I want to do is I want to take a quick break. I've been streaming for 1.5 hours now without taking a break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up on a different track so you can listen to something different I made. And I'll be right back. I guess I'm going for this one. A cool project that sounds a bit different, but it's a good length. Yeah, it's 5.5 minutes. I can take a quick break and I'll be right back and we'll get back into this production just so I can like refresh my ears and just step outside for a minute. That's always a good idea if you're producing and doing long sessions, to once in a while step away from it, refresh a little bit and then get back into it. So I'll be back in 5 to 7 minutes and then we'll get right back into production. But for now, here's a track that I made.
If I enable you to tie your digital persona to your actual physical person by integrating technology into your body, that's like giving you a digital voice that can speak for you in machine's native language, but also if you can't speak for yourself.
Nice. Everybody has their coffee. We'll post a link on Discord. Nice. Then I can check it out. Let's turn this off. I am not drinking tea. I got myself a nice cold beer because it's very hot in this room. Cheers. Helps. Nice and refreshing. Tea isn't really, when it's hot, then yeah, I was drinking iced tea. I still have some iced tea left, but I wanted something cold, so yeah, that's, beer is better for being fresh, right? Nice and refreshing, I should say. Okay, let's get into some crazy forest lead sound design for this part. I want a few different leads. I have an example of this, but I would need to go through some streams. What I've seen Ollie Music do is that he creates a lead and he plays like this long of a section of it, and then he renders that out. And then he goes and he creates a different lead, and then he does that again. And then basically he creates like 5 to 10 leads, and then all of that morphs into this one big lead section. So that's the idea. Gonna do some FM stuff, do some different cool ideas. And the first one that I want to try is something that I've seen Mood Productions do in one of his videos, where you take a very fast LFO. So ideally I would set this to hertz, or just a very low amount of seconds, right? Something like this. And this should sound like FME, hopefully. Remove. Maybe we need to set this to a night missing, yeah. Something like this. We could try this with different shapes. Mix a few of them in, like this maybe. Let's set this to, let's just set it fully like this. And we could try something with the inharmonic smears on both of them, because that seems to get some really cool results as well. I would love to be able to set this in hertz. I don't know if that's possible. Key track. I can do it like this, right? So let's set this to 12 maybe. Or like this. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Now we can go like that. Maybe get some FM on both of these from the third oscillator, and then we can get just a basic sine wave from that. And we can play with the phase as well as the amount here. And we just create some random patterns with these macros. Let's set those macros up so that we can see them. 3. And we create some cool sounds from that. Let's do like 8 bars, that should be okay. I'm thinking of just doing 16 notes for this. See you soon might be. Nice that you were in here.